Before viewing today's program, please complete Unit 2, Exercise 1.
Throughout the ages, people have tried to find that magic key that would unlock their hidden gifts and give them the full potential of other human beings. If there is such a key, it's made of self-understanding. Remember that old adage, know thyself? All knowledge and understanding of individual attitudes and motivation begins with that person who looks back at you from the mirror each morning. In all the world, you are unique. Yet you share many characteristics with other people. So understanding yourself, what makes you tick, what you want from life, and how to go about obtaining it can help you to understand those about you. We first need to look and understand basic human needs. Psychologist Abraham Maslow discovered that all people feel certain needs that they try to meet. From his observations, Maslow formulated a theory of humanistic psychology based on the ways that human needs govern human behavior. This needs approach is very positive. It views that individuals' drives are good and considers people to be continually seeking health, happiness, and accomplishment. Maslow identifies 5 levels of needs in people and arranges them on an ascending scale. He believes that people can attempt to satisfy a higher level need only after satisfying some of the needs on the ladder's preceding and lower rungs. Try to determine how many of these human needs you've been able to satisfy. First, of course, are the physiological needs. These include the need for air, food, water, and shelter. The basics of human survival are the first needs to be satisfied. Next are safety and security needs. For many people, this is a difficult need to satisfy, especially if they live in dangerous areas or have very difficult jobs, such as law enforcement. Some people are never completely free of this level of concern. Love and belonging needs are third. While most of us achieve the first 2 needs on a certain degree, we can easily trip on this step and spend the rest of our lives seeking to love and be loved. We're social creatures and are rarely happy unless we have contact and interaction with others. When we speak about this need on the job, we mean the need to be accepted and liked by our fellow workers. Often, the relationships we form at work are next in importance to the relationships we have with our families. Near the top of the ladder are the esteem needs. These are much more difficult to satisfy. Because of the need for self-respect is underlying most accomplishments, individuals need to know and like themselves in order to know and like other people. Fulfilling these self-esteem needs involves understanding and accepting your own talents and limitations, and knowing the value of your experience while being able to relate well to others. A supervisor can help his or her employees reach this level by providing recognition and appreciation for their work. At the top of the ladder are the self-actualization needs, the height of human achievement. This self-actualized person, or a fulfilled individual, is someone who can accept reality, isn't afraid of growing close to others, is a good judge of character and situations, is creative and appreciative of help from others, and has a personal set of values which guide daily actions. This self-actualized individual is willing to learn from anyone because he or she recognizes that personal knowledge and experience cannot cover the whole realm of human behavior. Now, what do all these needs have to do with the supervisor's job? Each supervisor seeks to meet these needs through work, as well as through relationships with other people. Then the supervisor must also remember that each employee is trying to meet those same needs through work and other people. Generally, a supervisor earns enough for food, clothes, and shelter, and is relatively safe from physical dangers, including employee cutbacks. But what about the higher level needs? In seeking love and affection, some supervisors overlook their responsibility to manage and direct their workers. You can't be loved by everyone, and a supervisor's authority is enough sometimes to trigger dislike. Although each supervisor must remember that the job is not to win the love of workers, supervision is generally more successful if it involves being liked despite the authority that goes with the job. If a supervisor has self-respect, he or she will understand other people's needs for respect as well. Workers cooperate more fully under the direction of a person who respects them. In other words, your respect for workers will feed their respect for you, and vice versa. This will build a strong foundation for self-esteem. Finally, what about the self-actualized person? A review of the characteristics enjoyed by the self-actualized individual suggests that he or she is tolerant, decisive, understanding, efficient, realistic, innovative, eager to learn. In short, a remarkable leader. Self-actualized workers share these same characteristics because they are challenged by their jobs and find satisfaction and fulfillment in what they do.
Before viewing this tape, you completed a questionnaire based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is now time to score the test to enable you to determine how extensively you are motivated to each level on the ladder of needs. Simply follow the instructions for scoring, which are in Section 2 of the questionnaire.
That old maxim, know thyself, certainly looks good and sounds simple enough. But if you've tried it, you know that we all have built-in biases about who and what we are. And these biases can color our self-image until we really can't weigh our own abilities. It's not easy to see ourselves as others see us. In the same way, we often can't be objective about our emotional selves because we've built up defenses that hinder accurate self-evaluation. Another problem is that some people are simply too humble about what talents and activities they have. We have a strong cultural taboo against bragging, but putting down our talents can be just as socially and psychologically damaging as overconfidence. Dizzy Dean once said, if you've done it, it ain't bragging. In other words, when you're hot, you're hot. We must discover who we really are and learn to like what we find. The question is, how can we overcome both the natural and the social barriers to self-objectivity? Psychological tests can point out certain personality characteristics, strengths, and weaknesses, but they're designed to cover mass testing and can't really give us all the answers. We are all unique individuals who have unique qualities and combinations of qualities. Despite these difficulties, it's imperative that all of us strive to know ourselves and to discover the strengths, weaknesses, and talents that we possess. An accurate view of ourselves, coupled with a positive attitude, can help make the best of ourselves and our opportunities. It's all part of being a self-actualized person. And your first and most important challenge as a self-actualized supervisor is to manage yourself. If you can't supervise yourself, how can you expect to successfully supervise anyone else? Peter Drucker, the guru of modern management, gave some excellent advice on this matter. He identified 5 areas in which any supervisor can learn to govern personal behavior more effectively. The first piece of advice is to focus your effort on fewer tasks. Some people seem happy when they have 50 projects going at the same time, but only a few of those people can do a good job on most of the projects. The rest of us can't handle the pressure of too many tasks. When we take on too much, we become disorganized and nothing gets done. Understand your personal limitations and concentrate on doing a few things extremely well. The second recommendation is to eliminate the tools that are obsolete. Working with old, outdated habits can be as difficult and time-consuming as working with old, worn-out equipment. It's useful to take inventory now and then. Study the material and equipment you work with and the procedures you use, but also consider your personal habits. Determine what should be replaced by newer, and more efficient methods or fresher attitudes. Next, you need to discover where you're wasting time. How much time do you spend each day wondering what you should be doing, wishing you were somewhere else, or asking yourself, where has the time gone? A 24-hour day is long enough if you know how to use your time effectively. Try this simple exercise tomorrow. Carry a small notebook and jot down everything you do and see how long it takes. You'll find you can accomplish a lot more things in a single day when you're time conscious. Next, draw up a time budget for yourself. List the projects you want to undertake during the next week and estimate how long each will take. Of course, you should leave some room for essentials such as eating, sleeping, and even relaxing. You'll find you can accomplish much more if you have proceeded this way than in a less organized fashion. The next step in self-management is to learn to weigh your decision in terms of your goals. Decisions that don't carry you closer to your objectives waste your time, money, and effort. Learn to anticipate the end result of your decisions. If you think a particular decision will help you reach a goal, then choose your answer carefully. If the decision is incidental to your main objective, don't waste much time selecting a choice. Don't be afraid to test new ideas. Remember, however, that new methods require trial periods. Certainly it would be foolish to totally re-equip your production plant with untested machinery. Your personal job of managing yourself includes a responsibility to test new ideas. Consider these new ideas on a trial basis to see if they'll fit in with your current values and beliefs. Sometimes new ideas force us to recognize that some of our values and beliefs should be changed. The famous French novelist Rabelais once asked, "How shall I be able to rule over others if I have not full power and command of myself?" Though you can never be sure of successfully controlling the actions of other people, you can always work toward better control of your most difficult subordinate, yourself. Learn to manage yourself, and you'll discover how to supervise others. If you're able to master the 5 points we've just covered, you're well on your way to becoming a professional supervisor.
There is no better advice we can give to a supervisor, especially a new supervisor, than this. First, manage yourself. The job of any supervisor manager is to manage your staff, but unless you have heeded the 5 recommendations we have just heard, your efforts will be lost in an ineffective muddle. Let's now observe each of our new supervisors as they find themselves in their first few weeks of the new job. Keep in mind these 5 recommendations, and as you watch, make note of situations where they are or are not following the guidelines for managing yourself. Focus on fewer tasks. Eliminate obsolete tools. Discover time wasters. Weigh decisions in terms of goals. Test new ideas.
Marvin, I want you to know I have every intention of supporting you as much as I can. You know, this group is a very independent one. They've been used to doing things their own way for a long time. And sometimes they make you think they know just about everything. How do you plan to deal with that?
Well, I was brought in here to shape things up, and that's just what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to check their procedures. If you're not using efficient procedures, you can't increase productivity.
Well, I'd be interested in seeing the results there. It's been a long time since anyone checked them out on procedures.
Right. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down on the socializing on the bench. If you're talking, you can't work. We'll put up some little partitions between the workers. And in these modified cubicles, watch how much better the work gets done.
Yes, that might cut down on the talking for the time being, but don't they share the same equipment? Don't they share the same workbench?
Well, yeah. Okay, so we get some more equipment, so each person has everything he needs right in front of him. That could run into some bucks. There's a spare room down the hall. We'll check, we'll see if we can't get that room. We'll split the group up. Put half of them down there, leave half of them here, and then they can't talk, and the improvement's going to be very evident.
Okay, that sounds good. I tell you what, let's get back to our original problem and goals. Problem, what is it?
Low productivity, backlog of orders.
Low productivity, okay, goal?
Goal, to increase productivity to a reasonable level, say 2-hour turnaround for routine lab tests.
Okay, 2-hour turn. You know, I think you're jumping to conclusions about what's causing the problems here. And I want to see hard evidence before we make any changes. I mean, I want you to look into what other causes there may be. I mean, do you have any idea about any possibilities right offhand?
No, there might be.
Well, you know, their production level hasn't always been off. It's only this last month or two.
There may be some other little problems, but the real
Mark,
problem...
is managing this group effectively a major goal of yours?
Well, of course it is, and I can do it. I've managed groups like this before.
I know you have, and that's the point. This may not be like the other situations, and you won't know for sure until you do further investigations with the group involved. Get to know them. See how they work. Let them know what your goals are. Get them on your side. And unless you do that, I don't think you're going to get their full cooperation. And I don't think you can get your objectives met without them.
You know, when I took this job, I was given free rein to do the job as I thought best. And now it doesn't seem that way. Whose side are you on?
Look, Marv, I want to see you succeed with that group. But I know them. They are a sharp group of people who take great pride in their work. They have been working together for a long time. Now, you go in there and start messing around with their social dynamics on the job, you're asking for deep trouble.
Okay, but I don't want him to think I'm running scared. No group has ever got the better of me.
Look, it's all in how you handle it.
This could turn out to be a little more sticky than I thought.
Well, just remember your goal, Marv. And while you're at it, you might consider what your employee relation goals are as far as working with this team. You know, we may have different approaches to solving problems, and I hope it won't create a problem here. Let me know how you're coming along.
Okay, thanks, Frank. I should have more to report tomorrow.
Take a minute now to consider how well Marv is managing himself. What are the positive aspects of his supervisory style, as well as the areas he needs to improve? What does Marvin need to learn about his group's motivation and Maslow's hierarchy? What about the group's needs?
Hi, Lynn. How's it going? I just stopped by to see if you've had a chance to review last week's statements yet. Remember, I need them verified by this afternoon.
I'm doing them right now, Jim. I've had nothing but interruptions all morning long.
Oh, hi, Mr.
Hi,
Lopez.
Sandy.
We're about to roast out there. There's got to be something wrong with that air conditioning. Have you called about it yet?
No, Sandy, I haven't. I've been absolutely swamped. And I'll tell you what, it's going to get fixed a whole lot quicker if you'll just give Halverson a call, you know, down there in facilities. Tell him what's wrong and ask him when he can get somebody up to fix it. Could you do that?
Sure, I guess I could. I'll let you know.
Thanks.
That's good, Lynn. Don't let them keep piling things on you.
Jim, I've been noticing some interesting things in this printout. We have a lot of unnecessary data in here. I mean, why generate all this if we're not going to use it?
Good question, Lynn. I never noticed it before. I guess I just kind of ignored it. Well, I better get going. Don't forget that training session for new supervisors this afternoon at 2 o'clock in the training room, okay?
Good grief, I haven't even had time to
See you
fill out
later.
my calendar yet.
Hello, this is Lynn. Oh, Greg, I'd love to join you all, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to skip lunch today. I have a report I have to get out by this afternoon. Can I have a rain check? Bye.
I need you to sign these requisitions right away. They're overdue at the controller's office. Boy, it's sure been hot around here this morning. It must be over 80 degrees out there. Did you happen to call facilities yet?
No, I didn't, Beth. I asked Sandy to do it. Oh, and by the way, Beth, from now on, if you notice anything wrong in maintenance, would you take the responsibility for calling Halverson and seeing about getting things repaired?
Why, sure, Lynn. Nobody's ever put me officially in charge of things like that before. Other supervisors always did it themselves.
Well, I'm going to be counting on you to be responsible for a lot of things from now on. I really need your help.
Well, good. No problem.
Hi, Beth. Lynn, I just got a call from Frank McDowell in the lab section. Seems one of his employees got shorted on his paycheck. Frank is really steamed. Says it's the third time this month that has happened.
Well, Sandy's in charge of payroll now, Jim. I tell you what, I know where all the books are, and I'll bet I can find the error in just a minute.
Good.
Come on with me.
All right, fine, thanks.
How well is Lynn managing herself? Think about her performance in the previous scene in terms of the 5 areas recommended for governing personal behavior. As you complete the items in your workbook, try to give specific examples.
Paul, you look like you've been here forever. What's the matter? The computer go down again?
Yeah, it just came up 20 minutes ago, so things are rolling again. But I tell you, we've really got a backlog of calls to return. Boy, 40 minutes of downtime can really put a dent in your productivity level for the day. How often does that happen around here anyway?
Well, it depends. It happens a lot when they're doing programming changes. I understand that's what they're up to this week, so you can expect a few more breaks in service before the week is out.
Boy, it's really got me stumped. I mean, how do you keep up adequate service levels with this going on? I'm used to letting people off during downtime, remember?
Yeah, I remember. When we were at DLT, we used to all go down to the rendezvous for a little liquid refreshment, and nobody was the sadder. Oh, that was a blast, and a great boost in morale, too. You remember old Cliff? He could really tell some stories, couldn't he? You recall the one about his mother-in-law and the 5 wigs?
Oh, man, how could I forget that one? I tell you, those breaks in routine sure made the day go faster. Problem is, we weren't any too efficient when we got back either.
Right.
Hey, did you ever hear about what happened to Samantha? She left about the same time you did. Oh, hi, Mary.
Well, you two seem to be enjoying yourselves. Have you happened to notice that the computer is down again?
Oh, man, not again. How long?
About 4 minutes now. By the way, do your employees know their backup procedures? I'm starting to hear complaints.
Backup procedures. Backup procedures, No, well, I guess we can't leave the customers hanging like this. But I tell you something, Mary. Whatever those backup procedures are, I think they need a bit of checking on. Excuse me, Bert, I need to get on this. I tell you, this is not starting off to be a good day. I tell you, Mary, can we get together and compare notes? Maybe you can tell me where my procedures are falling down.
Well, I don't know. I've got a pretty busy schedule this week. I'm short on staff. Maybe next week I'll have time.
Today's program has been about the whole area of managing yourself. In the scene you just saw, Paul, the last of our new supervisors, was becoming entrenched in his new job. We leave you for today to think about these questions. A, how is Paul doing? B, is Bert a help? C, is Paul using recommendations?